My name is Sithandweyinkosi Ndebele. I'm 22 years of age, and I have a testimony today. My testimony is about the goodness of God in my academics. I came to the ministry in 2008 when I was in grade 4. I think I was around 8 years old. So I started from children's ministry, and I got groomed from then on. My journey in my academics was very stressful. I remember in matric, I struggled a lot. The only thing I did was to come to church, to serve, go home, and study. That was in matric, and I did relatively well, better than other students, I think. And for that, I want to thank God that my journey has just been a wow in my life. And then when I moved on to tertiary education. Oh, I'm an aspiring chartered accountant, by the way. So when I got to varsity, it was a huge step. I think most of you who are in varsity can relate. It was a huge step. You meet different people from different backgrounds. You're trying to fit in, you're trying to compare yourselves. You don't have any label on your dress, because your parents can't afford. And that was my situation. And it was quite a struggle to try and fit in. But then I think the teachings, the serving, always being found in the house of God actually helped me to carry on. So that's how I actually did well in my first degree, which is the Bachelor of Accounting. I was supposed to graduate in 2020, but Corona. I'm really grateful for my first degree. And then last year, I was meant to do my second degree, which is the postgraduate in accounting science. In other varsities is the Certificate of Theory in Accounting, which is CTA. It just started with struggle, because in March, I'm not originally from South Africa, I'm originally from Zimbabwe. In March, when I went to renew my visa at that time, they put us away, kind of like jailed us, because I was supposed to leave the country. And then at that moment, I was just like, okay, God, you brought me all the way here, so what's going on, And it was hard for me at that time. I remember there was a lot of things going on in my mind to say, did God really forsake me? He brought me thus far to just leave me here and now. It was terrible, After studying hard, late nights, only to be told you're going back to the country, and maybe, I was just thinking of so many things and worry and fear. And I remember that same week I got the chance to talk to the man of God. And he just said, I shouldn't worry, And I'm just sitting there like, I shouldn't worry. How does that even happen? I'm being deported, I'm in jail, I'm just scared. And I'm like, okay, my entire family is here in South Africa. And sure, it was hectic, man. It was really hectic. And it was just an experience at that time. And when the prophet said, don't worry, at that time, you're just freaking out. I'm like, okay, Dad said, don't worry. I've seen Dad talking to people and people coming for testimonies, so I shouldn't worry. And I held on, and then school started, Corona started. I couldn't leave the country then because nobody was allowed to leave. So I could stay as well, which was grace on its own because I had a chance to finish my studies. And then during my postgraduate studies in 2020, all the exams I failed. Like literally from first semester, second semester, I'm trying to push. Like I'm not sleeping and nothing is happening. My results are not showing like the work that I put in, And it was really stressful because, you study, others are partying in varsity, others are going out and having a good time. You're just sitting there with your books and looking like an idiot, And then, I was just like, okay, God, like what's happening? And then in panic mode, I spoke to the prophet And then I was like, no, everything is not going well and stuff. And then he sent an email to say, with God, all things will be possible. Nothing will be impossible with God. And at that time, okay, I'm like, nothing will be impossible with God. So I just wrote those words, put them in front of my study desk, and yeah, with God, nothing will be impossible. Finals came, I still didn't do well. And I'm like, oh God, what's happening? Okay. And then I qualified for all the subjects I had to have subs, you know? And the rule of thumb is that if you get one sub, maybe you will succeed, you know? But if you get all of them subs, and it's a struggle, like people repeat this course for years, I repeated all 4, and in January we wrote our subs, and I passed all 4 with the highest marks I've ever gotten in that year. I cried, I think, a lot. And then the thing is, I've always believed in coming to church for encouragement. You know, the prophet would tell you to get up, you know, dust yourself off. You can't just fall and just sit and fold your hands to say, okay, then what? So during the whole December, I did come to church to serve every week. But then after church, I would go back to my books every day. 24 December, I was busy with my books and there was no fun there. It wasn't fun at all. But then I think for me, what helped me was the teaching, you know. We really taught how to get up and dust ourselves off, especially as young people. I feel like we're still young. Even if things had happened and I didn't go through, I knew I was going to get through it either way at once, one day. During my studies in 2020, I had applied for articles. Since it's a 7-year course, it's 4 years of studying and 3 years of articles. I got an offer while I was failing, and I came to Dad to say, no, Dad, I'm still not doing well. I'm not sure if I'm going to succeed. Should I sign the contract? And he said, no, sign it. Just go ahead and sign it. What's stopping you? Okay, cool. I signed it, and then after my results came out in February, I think I was supposed to start on the 1st. My results came out on the 1st. They didn't say anything. And then I just dressed up with my church clothes and walked up to the company to say, I received a letter of appointment. I'm here to work. And they're like, okay, please come tomorrow. We'll have the laptop and everything set up for you. And that's how I started working and doing my articles at this moment. And I just want to thank God for his faithfulness, because it just gets better every time, you know. I had to write my first board exam in April, which is Initial Test of Competence, ITC, that's board 1. In April, the results came out, I think it's in July, and I did well. I actually passed the first board exam at first attempt, and I just want to thank God, because God has just been so faithful, God has just been so good, and I really appreciate what he's doing in my life and in my family. And I remember when I look back, I'm like, okay, you know, there was a time the pastor would say, just read Psalms. You know, Psalms will help you. There were times when I was just struggling at night, I'm struggling to study. I'll just open some Psalms and just start reading and reciting, you know, just to boost my confidence as well. And that really helped me a lot. When I started in the company, I still had the issue with the papers as well, you know, because I was supposed to be deported and stuff like that. And when I got there, everything went well. Nobody asked nothing, you know. Things were just moving smoothly so. And I knew that God had actually intervened, because you know how fussy big companies are, you know. They actually go through so many processes, and God has just been faithful, man. Like, yeah, he's just been doing great for me. I just want to say, we can do this, man. You just put your mind to your books and forget about whatever is happening, you know? The vibe doesn't end, guys. The vibe doesn't end. It actually gets better when you have your own money to spend, you know? It gets better. And yeah, we know where we're coming from. I know where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from a rich family where they just handed me the keys to, okay, start your life, here's a house or whatever, you know? And I had to just know myself as well, you know? The prophet talks about you knowing yourself, because other things, you know, you will get. The clubbing and stuff, those things will always be there. Just focus on your studies. It's just a few years. When I look back, I'm like, wow, it's been 4 years. This is the 5th year. And I'm like, okay, time just flew out of nowhere. And it's not that much time. It's a bit of sacrifice for a better future, because I realize with education, you can have intelligent conversations. When you meet the CEO, the CFO, and you just there, you're like, okay, what's happening? You have to, you know? Yeah, so you just have to have those, equip yourself with skills, be it communication, be it whatever. Just equip yourself in school, and it helps, hey? I just want to say thank you to everybody who supported, from children's ministry teachers who actually helped me a lot. You know, when I see them as well, I just smile and I'm like, hi, even if they don't remember because I've grown. It's always great to see people who support you, you know, people who encourage you, be it how to dress, be it, you know, small things that actually build you, because I didn't do this all by myself. It's just a community of impact. And I also want to thank the man of God and mom as well for just being a part of my life and my family, because I don't think we'll be this far if it wasn't for their intervention in our lives as well. Just God bringing them into our lives. I also want to thank my pastor and the people that I serve with for always being there, you know, and supporting. And I just want to thank God that He's so good.
You heard my daughter say she came when she was 8, serving in God's house. And the other point is that I got studying. It's 5 years. See the product. My question to you is, in the past 5 years, what have you become?